So good evening and welcome to this part of the program, which is all about open houses. And I'm going to tell you two parts of the process. The first is what incentives are available for your club to earn, what incentives are available, and then I'm going to tell you how to earn them. So let's get started with what are the incentives. And as you can see, there's three separate sections. I'm asking everybody to please unmute at this point because I'm going to ask you to yell out the answers. So in the first section, as you see, it says for each open house with at least 3 guests, up to 10 open houses this year, your club gets $40 in district bucks. Now, if you were to have the full 10 open houses before June 30th, 2022, how much would your club earn? That's right, $400. I can see we've got some mathematicians in the group. Let's go into the middle section, the buff section. For each guest from an open house who becomes a member within 30 days of the open house, the club would get $10 in district bucks. Now let's just suppose that you have an extremely successful open house with 100 guests. And each one of those 100 guests becomes a member within 30 days. How much would your club get? $1,000. Good. Now that's one open house. Now supposing you do that for each of the 10 open houses this year, how much would the club get? Not too difficult, is it? If one time it's $1,000, 10 times it's $10,000. Well done. Finally, for the club which has the most new members from open houses by the end of June 30th, 2022, there is a bonus of $100 in district bucks. Now, I want to tell you that when I asked the district for everything I wanted, and they said yes, I was really surprised. They're being very generous. So all of this is much more than last year, and it's available for anybody who does the work. I know that Michelle is going to go into a lot more detail about district bucks, but let me say this about district bucks. It's not cash. I hope everybody understands this. So when you have had your first open house and you earned $40 in district bucks, it doesn't mean that the district will send you $40. I hope everybody understands this. What it means is that you've got credit for that amount. So then if your club spends $40 or however much you spend, then you send receipts in the way that Michelle is going to explain to you, and the district will reimburse you. So that's what district bucks means. It's not real money, okay? It means that you've got credit for that amount, and you do have to spend it for something that's valuable to the club, not to an individual member, of course. So as we go into hybrid meetings, one of those things is that probably every club will need to have a laptop computer and some sort of a good sound device, audio device. That's all I have to say about the incentives themselves. So now if you would please go back on mute, I'll tell you how to earn them. There are 4 things you need to submit in order to get your district bucks. So a club will be eligible if they submit the first 4 of the following items within 40 days of their open house that had at least 3 guests. So it doesn't count as an open house unless there are 3 guests. Let me be very clear about that. Last year it was either 3 guests or 1 new member. Now it's 3 guests. You've got to have 3 guests for it to count as an open house. But on the other hand, you get more money if you have members. Now, the 40 days thing is because there are some clubs that only meet once a month, and I wanted them to be able to play. So if they only meet every 30 days, I wanted to give them the opportunity to have 2 meetings within this period and send their information to me. The first of the 4 items is an online flyer, and the flyer must have the words open house and the date of the open house on it. Also, you need to tell me just in words, tell me which media sites it was on, which social media sites it was on. So you can say it was on Facebook, it was on Instagram, it was on Twitter, whatever happens to be the case. Now, I know that many of you are creative and you can make lovely flyers, and that's wonderful. But for those of us who are less creative, here's a flyer template. So I just wanted to make that available to people. Absolutely, you don't need to use this one, but this one is approved by Toastmasters. It has all the right branding on it. And if you don't want to be creative, please go ahead and use this one. So that is the first of the 4 items. The second of the 4 items is an agenda, and the agenda needs to have the words open house and the date of the open house on it also. Let's move on to the third item. The third item is a screenshot. So when you've got all the little squares on your screen with all the people, take a screenshot. Before you do that, remember to ask for everyone's agreement before taking the screenshot. So how do you do that? My suggestion is you say, does anyone object to my taking a screenshot? And then there's total silence, and you can take the screenshot. I request that the squares that have the guests in, you please rename them so the word guest is in front of their name. That would be very helpful. But however you designate to me that these are the guests will work. Just let me know which people on the screen are the guests, because I can't guess, and I don't know your members necessarily. Okay, so those are the 3 items, the first 3 items, and the 4th item is a statement. The club has contact information for all of your guests. I don't need the contact information for all your guests. I just need you to say that you have it. So long as you say you have it, I trust you, and that's just fine. But I do need to know that you have it. So those are the 4 items, but there's more. There's a 5th item too. For guests who become members, send their name, member number, and your club number as well. Why I need your club number is that in all likelihood, you'll be sending me this information separately from the first 4 items, and I need to get it together with the rest of your information. The best way to send me this information is that Toastmasters International will send out a congratulatory email to you when you have a new member. It will go to the Vice President of Membership and the President, I believe, definitely to the President. And that email shows the club's members' the new members' number, the date that they joined, and indicates your club. So that would be the best possible evidence. So those are the 4 items plus the 5th item. That concludes the formal part of the presentation, and now I'd be very happy to take your questions. And I also want to say that should questions occur to you after this workshop, please email me at openhouse@d57tm.org. Again, that is openhouse, all one word, openhouse @d57tm.org. I neglected to ask at the beginning, so if there are any people who are really quite new members, you may not know the district website is d57tm.org and that it stands for District 57 Toastmasters.org, d57tm.org. So now I would love it if one by one people raise their hands, and maybe somebody can guide me to know who is asking the question, and I will answer some questions.